Hey guys, I'm Dan from ShastaBubba Adventures, and recently I was on an early season trip up the Selway River in Idaho, and that gave me the opportunity to try out a new food company. It's called Pinnacle Foods, and they caught my eye from a post on Instagram that mentioned the company having a connection to Missoula, Montana, which is kind of in my own neighborhood. According to the website, the company was actually founded in Missoula by John and Ben Rittner, although the production side of the company was moved to North Carolina in 2021, where the brothers actually grew up. Although I believe that Ben still lives in Montana. I was especially intrigued to try these meals when I read that John is a graduate of a culinary school in North Carolina, and they go to great lengths to use fresh ingredients versus fillers and preservatives. You can read more about their process in the About section on their website, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. Since for once I was hiking with a friend on this trip instead of going solo, it seemed like a perfect opportunity to not just try out a couple of new meals, but also get a second opinion on them. Here's how that went. So tonight we are at the Moose Creek Guard Station, which is an awesome freaking place if you ever get a chance to be here in Idaho in the Selway Wilderness. And we are trying the Pinnacle Foods herb roasted chicken and white cheddar dumplings, and I've co-opted my buddy Chris here to give us an authentic reaction. You want to go first? Mm-hmm. Okay. You had a dumpling and some carrots. Mm. Don't burn your tongue.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
Dumpling's not bad.
Thanks, man.
I guess it's a winner.
There you go.
How would you describe that?
Would you say it's as good as Patty's? It's pretty good.
Note to self, forget about getting friends to help with taste tests. I'll say more about that meal in a minute, but for now I just want to mention that I especially liked the dumplings. They reconstituted perfectly, neither, too mushy or too crunchy, so I was impressed by that. A second thing that intrigued me about this company is their use of two different options for packaging. The first is called omni-degradable, which is not a word I had seen before, so I had to look that one up. Apparently, omni-degradable means something more than just biodegradable, which has become rather a loose term and usually requires extra effort to actually break down. Things like heat, pressure, and moisture are needed. Omnidegradable means that all it requires to decompose is microbes, so it's much more likely to actually decompose and to be good for the environment. The downside is that the packaging isn't quite as durable as the other option, which they call a retort bag, and that just means that it's a laminate that allows for sterile packaging and a much longer shelf life. We're talking 1 year for the omnidegradable and 5 years for the retort bags. Now that's all fantastic and really made me want to try the actual food, but one minor bummer is that the retort bags are the ones with the horizontal orientation like this, which makes for a very convenient bowl. So my wish is for the omnidegradable ones to also be available in this shape, but that's kind of a nitpicking since us freezer bag cookers all own our own long-handled spoons anyway, right? The next day, Chris got an early start down the trail, so we were hiking separately all day, and I was still running solo by the time dinner rolled around. That just meant that I didn't have to share the second meal, which was the creamy Tuscan chicken with penne pasta. So first is add a cup and a half of water, and personally I find that most manufacturers overestimate the amount of water it takes to reconstitute stuff. So I like to go a little shy on that, about a cup and a quarter to start. You can always add it later, but I prefer things more of a stew consistency than a soup consistency. A good stir. I already took the oxygenator out. And we'll close that up. And wait, I believe, 12 minutes. Check the clock. Okay. Almost dinner. Well, that consistency looks just right to me. It looks pretty good too with the sun-dried tomatoes and herbs. Looking forward to trying that. Okay, well, I believe that's about the right amount of time. Let's check it out. Hopefully without any flies getting in the way. That's pretty good. Not too salty, but it's got some good flavor. The sun-dried tomatoes, I think, really help a lot. That's pretty good. This might be a new favorite. Okay, well, I'm going to say this is a winner. Because I can't stop eating it. Okay, put that down for a while. I'm going to close that up because I don't want the flies to get into it. One of the comments that my buddy Chris made last night after they shut the camera off was that he appreciated all of the color in the meal that we had last night. You know, a lot of times freeze-dried meals are pretty bland and not loaded with good ingredients, but there was some herbs in that one and whole slices of carrots. So could have probably used just a tiny bit of more salt. This one is just right. And I did put in the whole amount of water last night, so it got a little soupy. So I think I would make those two changes, just bring a pinch of salt and only do a cup and a quarter instead of cup and a half. So full disclosure, I have zero financial connection with Pinnacle Foods. You know how I like supporting cottage companies, and for one to be so close, I really wanted to check them out. So I sent them an email and asked for a couple of free samples. That's what they sent me, and that's the extent of our connection. So bottom line, the chicken and dumplings was 3.5 stars, probably 4 stars, with a little bit of doctoring of a pinch of salt and less water. And it did occur to me later that just reducing the water might have been enough, since that would mean less dilution of the seasoning. But the real hero was the Tuscan chicken, which was clearly 5 stars and into the category of something I would gladly eat at home. That was a really good meal, and definitely something I plan to get more of those for future trips. And I also look forward to exploring some of the other offerings at Pinnacle. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care. Chris doesn't know he missed out on, but I'll tell him.